Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. Here on Wacky and Weird Wednesday, we're going to cover all the weird stuff we've found in the news cycle, including the huge beef against Drake and Kendrick, what I think is really wacky. That people are still having beef, live tracks released in the public space for everyone to judge and go, oh, I can't believe you said that. Anyways, let's go in with our headlines. Today on Before Coffee. Bronze Age gold stolen during museum break-in. And Boris Johnson forgets his ID at the polling station.
And a family in Utah mails a cat to Amazon in California.
Swiss Army knives maker to produce version without a blade.
And next Sunday is National Limerick Day, so I wrote a limerick for my second headline. An emotional support reptile pet earned follows and likes on the internet. He's Willie the Gator, who said, "See you later." Now Georgia has out the dragnet.
And in our culture news, we have Kendrick Lamar posts another new Drake diss track and the short history of the beef.
Those stories and more, which is National Coconut Cream Pie Day. Yum. May 8th, 2024 on Before Coffee.
Okay, let's go ahead and start our first two news stories. These are quite short, so I put them together. This happened in the UK in Cambridge. This is from BBC from Harriet Haywood. Curators are devastated after gold objects dating back to 3,000 years to the Bronze Age were stolen from a museum. A gold torque, a gold bracelet were stolen during a break-in at Ely Museum on Tuesday, which was May 8th. May 7th. What day is it? May 7th. The museum was broken into. The museum acquired the torque valued at £220,000 in 2015 using grants and donations, and it said the loss was a huge blow. Cambridgeshire police said it was looking for two suspects on e-scooters who were believed to be involved in the burglary. Ellie Hughes, a museum curator, said, "We are devastated by the loss to the museum and to the local heritage of this region. It is a huge blow after the incredible support from the community acquiring the torque in 2017. As a culturally significant object, it cannot be replaced. Our priority now is working with the police to locate the stolen objects. Unfortunately, it's probably already been melted down because it's gold." Both items were found in East Cambridgeshire by metal detectors. The torque found in a ploughed field is regarded as the best found in England in more than a century, as it's larger than many other examples and made of 730 grams or 1 pound and 10 ounces of almost pure gold. No wonder somebody stole that. Deputy Inspector Kiri Mazur said, "The theft of these items is despicable and we are focused on identifying the offenders, tracing the items and returning them to their rightful place. We are working closely with the staff at Ely Museum to follow all lines of inquiry. I am very keen to hear from anyone who may be able to provide information or saw two people on e-scooters who were in the vicinity of the museum, car park and pedestrian walkways at the back of the museum, the council offices and the Grange car park between 12 a.m. and 2 a.m. on May 7th. So if you happen to live in Cambridgeshire and you saw somebody being suspicious around 12 to 2 a.m., let them know. You can, I guess you can follow them on Facebook or Twitter or email them at East of England News or WhatsApp, whatever. You'll figure it out. In more British news, former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson was turned away at a polling station because he forgot his ID. This is from AP News. I don't think it's written by anybody. It's just a general information here. Former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson was turned away from a polling station after forgetting to bring his ID to vote in the UK's local elections. So this was last week. British media reported Friday, which was May 3rd, that Johnson, who introduced the requirement for voters to provide ID with a photo when he was in office, was told by a polling station staff in South Oxfordshire Thursday, which was May 2nd, that he would not be able to vote without proving his identity. Sky News reported that Johnson, who served as Conservative Prime Minister from 2019 to 2022, was later able to cast his ballot and that he voted Conservative. Johnson introduced the Elections Act, requiring photo ID in 2022, and the new law was first implemented last year in local elections. But on May 2nd was the first time large numbers of voters across England and Wales had to present ID such as a passport or driver license to vote. The Electoral Commission said that vast majorities of people were able to meet the new requirements, although it noted that some people who would have wanted to vote may have decided not to try because they did not have an acceptable ID. It also said there was evidence that some people, such as disabled people and the unemployed, found it harder to show voter ID. Yeah, if you can't drive, why would you have a driver's license? So that's always been a problem with these ID requirements is you have to actually do the thing that requires the ID to begin with. Are you traveling often? No? Why would you have a passport then? Do you drive? No? Well, why would you have a driver's license? But just kind of the irony or the it's almost satire that the dude who helped pass the law requiring ID didn't have his own. Well, of course I'm Boris Johnson. Who else could I be? Anybody could look like this guy. Just make your hair all crazy. I'm Boris Johnson. Okay, I believe you. I think famous people need IDs just because of the fact that there's people out there who could pretend to be them, steal their identity, and take their vote away. But there's my two wacky and weird news stories about giant, almost pure gold, just crazy, just this long, I don't know, I guess a tire. Do you know what a torque is? Do you know what a torque is? Kind of the thing you use to clear, like, your pipes. You just spin it and then it keeps spinning. I don't know, it's a torque. But just that whole thing, pretty big, full, just pure gold. Crazy. Almost a pound of gold just sitting in a museum somewhere. No wonder somebody stole it.
Utah cat with fondness for cardboard takes a prize trip to California in an Amazon box. This is from AP Amy Beth Hansen. Galena, a 6-year-old house cat from Utah, likes hiding and playing with cardboard. Earlier this month, the combination of the two made for a stressful trip to Amazon Stressful trip in an Amazon package, a feverish search, a California rescue, and tearful reunion. Her family is still waiting to reintroduce cardboard to her again, owner Carrie Clark said Tuesday, because they don't want to stress her out. Clark got Galena as a kitten after her aunt rescued a pregnant feral cat. The American short hair with calico and Siamese coloring has been a constant companion and source of emotional support. I've been through a bunch of health things, and she and I have gone through that together, and she just has this extra great part about her personality that's very loving, and she can tell when you don't feel well, Clark said, and she's just really, really special to me. So when Galena disappeared on April 10th, Clark was beside herself. They searched the neighborhood, put up flyers and posted notices on Facebook. Lost pet pages in Lehi, Utah. Not knowing what happened to her was pretty excruciating, Clark said. I cried my eyes out for 7 days trying to figure out what had happened. Clark also ran through all the worst case scenarios, wondering if the cat could have gotten out of the house and been nabbed by a predator or run over by a vehicle. Clark said she received a text that changed my life on April 17th, saying that Galena's microchip had been scanned, so Clark knew that she had been found somewhere. Soon after, she got a call saying her cat was in Riverside, California, after being found in a box along with steel-toed boots that had been returned to an Amazon warehouse. Clark's husband had ordered several pairs of boots, kept one, and returned the rest in a large box on April 10th. Well, that's an interesting way to shop for boots. I guess you didn't try them on in the store. You can try them on at your house. Realized that our sweet kitty must have jumped into that box without us knowing, she said. Amazon employees knew just who to call when they found the feline. Co-worker Brandy Hunter, who rescues cats, Clark said. Hunter took the cat home into the vet the next day where the microchip was scanned. Clark spoke with Hunter, who calmed me down and told me that the kitty was okay. My kitty was okay, despite having spent 6 days in a cardboard box without food or water. I wanted desperately to be with her, Clark said. She and her husband flew to California the next day, reunited with Galena at the veterinarian's office, and rented a car to drive home. We did what we needed to do because I just adore her, Clark said. It was an intensely emotional week. I went from hysterically laughing that she was stuck like that, we mailed our cat, just the humor part of that, to hysterically crying all within 5 seconds, Clark said. The family was lucky to get Galena back, Clark said, in part because the weather was not harsh. During the time the cat was missing, the box was torn at a seam, allowing her to get more air, and because Hunter, who took her to a vet and had her scanned for a microchip. Since word got out, Clark has been sharing your cat's story with advice to microchip your pets and to double check your Amazon boxes before returning them. Galena is a quiet cat, Clark said. She didn't meow. We would have loved for her to meow so we knew that where she was in the box. So there's your story. The cat is found, safe and sound. Those were my lines for my limerick, but I didn't finish the rest of it. So, well, maybe later. And
Okay.
if anybody's listening, back to you.
Actually, this reminded me of that other previous wacky, weird story where the people were moving and they also put their cat in a box and then just were like, oh, we lost our cat. It's like, oh, actually, we just had it was in a box. The cats just love boxes. I have a box on my couch right now because the cat will just be like, a box, and go in it. And yeah. Check your boxes before you send them, I guess.
Cats and boxes.
You don't want to send your cat to the Amazon.
The cats love to hide.
Yeah.
They like to hide.
Nice and secure.
They really love to hide. They love to sneak up on stuff. Sneaking up on stuff is what they do. It's what tigers do best.
Yeah, so take this. This is your notice to check all your boxes before you send them back to an Amazon warehouse. Because your kitty might be
Oh,
in
boy.
it. Okay. For my next story,
Right.
this is kind of wacky news. The Swiss Army knife is developing a new version, but without its knife. So I guess it's just going to be called the Swiss Army No Knife? Terrible joke. Anyways, this is coming from Amelia Hill on The Guardian. For more than a century, the Swiss Army knife has been an essential piece of kit for everyone from picnickers and equestrians to golfers and astronauts. But now the maker of the pocket knife, with its red and blue shell and multiple tools, has bowed to what an English judge last week called the plague of knife crime by designing a new range without blades. In response to an increasing number of countries imposing bans or restrictions on carrying knives, Victorinox, the Swiss firm that produces the pocket tools, is in the early stages of developing the first range of bladeless products designed specifically for activities where a blade would not be required. We're concerned about the increasing regulation of knives due to the violence in the world, said Carl Elsellner, the fourth-generation CEO of the family-run company. In some markets, the blade creates an image of a weapon. I have in my mind creating a tool that would be useful for cyclists. Cyclists have a need for specific tools, but not necessarily a blade, he said. We already have a tool specifically for golfers. Last week, Mr. Justice Saini blamed the plague of knife crime in Bristol and surrounding area for the murder of the 16-year-old Mikey Roynon, a talented teenage rapper stabbed in the neck at a house party in Bath. The same week, a 15-year-old boy who was stabbed another teenager in the heart in full view of pupils leaving a primary school in Leeds was found guilty of murder. It came amid reports of soaring demand for body armor for shopping center security staff amid a 65% rise in violent, abusive incidents in the past 2 years. Under UK law, a person can only carry a knife in public if it has a folding blade that is less than 3 inches, or 7.62 centimeters long. For all other knives, it is illegal to carry them in public without a good reason, which can include needing a knife for work, wearing it as a part of a national costume, or for religious reasons. Famously, I think it's Shiite Muslims who carry a knife on their neck. I think it is. Sorry if I got that wrong. Such as the curved... Oh yeah, no, literally. Sheiks. The sheiks carry the curved Kirpan knife. Elsinore said Victorinox was responding to tightening of regulation by developing bladeless tools for specific outdoor activities or sports. Victorinox produces about 10 meters of the pocket tool, 10 million of the pocket tools each year. There are about 400 different types to choose from, including one that boasts 73 functions. They have even been carried into space by NASA astronauts. However, until now, they have always had at least one blade. The company has already had to adapt its product to tighten restrictions on carrying knives in the aftermath of 9/11. The company's sales fell by 30%. Even in Switzerland, the home of the brand, there have been discussions about what people are permitted to carry. In 2016, there was a parliamentary debate about banning blades longer than 5 centimeters. One MP even asked, will the famous Swiss Army knife be forbidden? The proposed amendment was dropped. The Swiss Army knife was first developed in Ibach, Switzerland in 1891. It was originally referred to as an Aufseilmesser, or an officer's knife, as the company had a contract to supply knives to the army. The product was given the name Swiss Army knife 6 years later, hence why it's called the Army knife. So, makes sense, but it is wacky that the Swiss Army knife is going to lose its knife, at least for certain sets. I'm sure you can still buy the actual knife set, but it's going to require you to probably have to get registered as owning a violent knife or something. Something similar to that. I know you have a Swiss Army knife, don't you? Or you had one at some point?
Yes, I do. I do have a Swiss Army knife. And it was once confiscated by the TSA, and they kept it for when I was going, I think I was going to Europe the first time. They took it. And I got it back like a month later.
Oh yeah, they
used to just break the blade off.
Oh really?
We can break the blade off. I'm like, what? Yeah. Or you can break it off yourself. If you got one of those Gerber tools or whatever, or one of those Leathermans, the blade's too long to take on a plane, they'll send you a free blade if you break it off. So I guess you can do that if you want to not have your knife confiscated. I'm sure the TSA ends up with a lot of free knives every year. Okay, so I sent you a link so I can close that page.
I got that.
All right, so we're on to the man and his emotional support alligator, right?
Yep.
No updates on this story. I checked. This is from last week, but no updates. This is from AP News also. No person's name on it. This is from Brunswick, Georgia. A Pennsylvania man who discredits an alligator. Well, he didn't discredit an alligator. It's hard to discredit an alligator. They don't say much. A Pennsylvania man who credits an alligator named Wally for help relieve his depression for nearly a decade says he is searching for the reptile after it went missing during a vacation to the coast of Georgia. Joey Henry has thousands of social media users following his pages devoted to Wally, the cold-blooded companion that he calls his emotional support alligator. He has posted photos and videos online of people petting the 5.5-foot alligator like a dog or hugging it like a teddy bear. Wally's popularity soared to a new heights last year when the gator was denied entry to a Philadelphia Phillies game. What? I'm taking my alligator to the game. What's wrong with that? I cannot get through a Phillies game without my alligator. Now Henny has said he has destroyed after Wally vanished while accompanying him on April vacation in Brunswick, Georgia, a port city 70 miles south of Savannah. He said he suspects someone stole Wally from the fenced outdoor enclosure where Wally spent the night on April 21st. In social media posts, Henny said pranksters left Wally outside the home of someone who called the authorities, resulting in his alligator being trapped and released into the wild, or the world. Same thing. We need all the help we can to bring back my baby back. That sounds like a ad for Chili's. Henny said in a tearful video posted on TikTok, "Please, we need your help." Henny said he didn't have time to talk when the Associated Press reached him by phone Wednesday morning. He did not immediately return follow-up messages. The man from Jonestown, Pennsylvania, had previously said He obtained Wally in 2015 after the alligator was rescued in Florida at the age of 14 months. Then he told the Philadelphia Inquirer in 2019 that Wally helped alleviate depression following the deaths of several close friends. He said a doctor treating his depression had endorsed Wally's status as an emotional support animal. He has never tried to bite no one, and he told the newspaper, no one has filed police reports about the missing alligator in Brunswick, surrounding Glenn County, according to the spokesperson for the city and county police departments. Georgia's Department of Natural Resources confirmed that someone in Brunswick area reported a nuisance alligator on April 21st, the day Henny said Wally went missing, and that the licensed trapper was dispatched to capture it. The agency said in a statement that the gator was released in a remote location, but stressed that it doesn't know if the reptile was Wally. It is illegal in Georgia for people to keep alligators without a special license or permit, and the State Department of Natural Resources says it doesn't grant permits for pet gators. Pennsylvania has no state law against owning alligators, although it's illegal for owners to release them into the wild, according to the Fish and Boat Commission. David Mixon, a wildlife biologist and coastal supervisor for the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, has handled plenty of alligators reported in people's yards. Now, if alligators are reporting in people's yards, that would be something. And swimming pools. He has also shown gators kept in captivity in presentations to school groups and Boy Scout troops. He said even alligators that seem docile can be dangerous, and he always makes sure to hold their mouths closed with a hand or preferably a band. They're unpredictable and they're often reactive to stimulants. Mixon said there's lots of videos of pictures where people handle gators and they do it without getting hurt. But the more time you spend around them, the more likely you are to be injured. State officials in neighboring Florida, home to an estimated 1.3 million gators, have recorded more than 450 cases of unprovoked alligators biting humans since 1948. That includes more than 90 gator bites since 2014, 6 of them fatal. In areas where people can legally own alligators, it is possible for them to be considered emotional support animals, said Lori Kogan, a psychologist and Colorado State University professor who studies interactions between humans and animals. Unlike service animals that help people with disabilities such as blindness to post-traumatic stress, emotional support animals have no special training, Kogan said. They also don't have any official registry, though health professionals often write letters of endorsement for owners with diagnosed mental health condition. People can get very attracted to a variety of animals, Kogan said. Can you get attracted to a reptile? Can it bring you comfort? I would say yes. Me personally, no. But that is your story. Wally the gator, probably happy where he is. We don't know, right? He's probably, Georgia's got other gators there he can hang out with at the Gator, the Gator Club, the Gator YMCA, or the YA. The YACA, the Young Alligator Club of America.
Yeah, I guess.
The YGCA.
It's really odd that somebody just took his alligator away and just...
As a prank.
And then it just got released in a swamp and he'll never find it again.
I've got my fingers crossed, hoping that those people lost a finger themselves while they were kidnapping it. They're looking around for people and... Anybody recently named Stumpy in your life?
Gator rescuer or whatever.
Anyway, what?
The ranger or whatever, the gator ranger. He was like, yeah, these are dangerous creatures. Like all things are dangerous. You can lose an eye from a cat. Humans
are dangerous.
Bite your fingers off.
Way more dangerous.
They're all dangerous. So I'm just saying, like, if somebody wants to own an alligator, it's their business. It's not my business. So.
It's not really, unless it crawls into my yard, and I'm like, the fuck's an alligator doing in my yard? I'm in Maryland.
At least let people know you own an alligator, I guess.
So did my audio record at the beginning, at the headlines?
Yeah, we'll have to do the headlines again. It's okay. Do you remember your limerick?
Well, I wrote it down.
Okay, well then.
Really hard to remember otherwise.
Fine. They'll be fine. Okay.
You want to do them now?
No, I have to do my story.
Okay, I guess not. Alrighty.
For our culture news, we are looking at Kendrick Lamar and Drake's diss tracks and also a history of their beef. This is from Johnny Walfitz on Euronews Culture. Diss tracks are an essential part of hip-hop. With Euphoria and 616 in LA, Kendrick Lamar lays it into Drake without remorse. What's the story behind his beef with the Canadian rapper? Much like skits and sampling, diss tracks are one of the unique additions hip-hop has added to the musical art form. While musicians have always held rivalries, Mozart versus Salieri, Oasis versus Blur, Garfunkel versus Simon, some of the biggest musical bust-ups have not only happened within the hip-hop genre, they've also been expressed in their music. Sure, both Gallagher brothers love nothing more than slagging the other one off in interviews, but they're not actually taking their guitars to air their grievances. A quick trip through the annals of hip-hop, though, and diss tracks are everywhere. There are many reasons for diss tracks. Sometimes they can come from an aspiring rapper trying to make an impression on the industry. Though these tracks can come with humbling repercussions, see Eminem's Killshot response to Machine Gun Kelly's embarrassing Rap Devil. Other times it can represent genuine vitriol that exists outside of music. Tupac and Notorious B.I.G.'s feud comes to mind. Hip-hop may have celebrated its 50th anniversary last year, but the diss track is far from going out of style. The latest addition to the genre within a genre comes from perhaps the biggest contemporary name in the game, Kendrick Lamar. The 36-year-old Lamar released Euphoria on the 30th April as a response to the Canadian rapper Drake's recent single Push-Ups and Tailor Made. So Drake started, in a way, this back and forth. Just 3 days later, he's now dropped a second track titled 616 in LA, firing more shots at the OVU founder. In Euphoria, you might expect from a Pulitzer Prize-winning rapper, Lamar's verses on the diss track pretty effectively eviscerate Drake with lines like, "You're not a rap artist, you're a scam artist with the hopes of being accepted. And I make music that electrify him, you make music that pacify him." That's just the first verse. Over the course of the rest of the song, Lamar criticizes Drake's obsession with fame, his desperation to work with Lamar, and his most brutally, how Lamar finds Drake's use of Black American aesthetics personally offensive. With 616 in LA, Lamar continues his assault on Drake, alleging to his own team is against him. Notably, the beat for the track is co-produced by Jack Antonoff, known for being a close collaborator of Taylor Swift. This move can be seen as a direct response to Drake's taunts against Kendrick on the Taylor Made freestyle. Lamar is readily accepted as the current GOAT, or greatest of all time for people out there who don't know what that means, of the genre, who's yet to release a bad record, while Drake's stock has been a steady downfall since the heady days of 2013's Nothing Was the Same. To be fair, Drake releases mixtapes, like thousands of songs every year, so his average of bad songs is going to be higher. But also, I don't like any of Drake's music, so I'm biased here. I like Kendrick Lamar's music, don't like Drake, so I've already chosen the side. Given Lamar's tracks are predictably devastating as anyone expected, why would Drake bother dissing him in the first place? So here's a short history. The hip-hop beef is both recent and a decade-old spat between Lamar and Drake. While it has certainly flared up in recent weeks, it's worth going back to the beginning to see how this all began. Once upon a time, both rappers were pretty amicable towards each other. They were both making great albums, Take Care and Good Kid, Mad City, and had a few features on a handful of songs together, most notably Drake's Buried Alive interlude and Lamar's Poetic Justice. A lot of love was lost, though, when Lamar fired the first proverbial shot. Oh, so Lamar started the scene. In the verse for Big Sean's 2013 song Control, Lamar used his verse to assert his new dominance on the hip-hop scene. In one verse, Lamar made it clear he, prior to even his career-defining album To Pimp a Butterfly, considered his stature alongside legends as Jay-Z, Nas, Eminem, and Andre 3000. All big names that even people who don't listen to hip-hop know. Of course, Andre 3000 is famous for his songs Hey Ya, which everyone knows that one. That was his kind of, you know that song, don't worry about it. Not only did he foresee his status alongside those MCs, he also denigrated 11 rappers from the new guard, including J. Cole. I also don't like J. Cole, so yet again I'm siding with the Kendrick here. Big Crit, or C-K-R-I-T, Whale, Pusha T, Meek Mill, A$AP Rocky, Big Sean, Jay Electronica, Tyler the Creator. Hey, I like Tyler the Creator. Mac Miller, rest in peace. And of course, Drake. Interesting, so he He used his verse on Big Sean's song Control to say that he's better than Big Sean, which is so impressive that he put it on his song. Drake originally dismissed the diss as just an ambitious sentiment from the Compton rapper. But Lamar doubled down on an insult on the 2013 BET Hip Hop Awards later that year. Supposedly, the two artists have been trading barbs ever since. Probably the most notable is the line from Lamar's song King Kunta from 2015. I can dig rapping, but a rapper with a ghostwriter? What the fuck happened? Which has been suggested is aimed at Drake, because he doesn't write his own songs, I guess. Besides the odd theory from hip-hop heads around each release, the Lamar-Drake beef seemed to... Sorry?
Nothing.
Okay. The Lamar-Drake beef seemed to cool down until it was reignited by a set of tracks sent between them and associates over the past few months. The inciting incident of the latest spat is generally believed to be J. Cole's line in Drake's 2023 song First Person Shooter that claims that he and two others are the big three of rap these days. Not that Lamar's petty, but he's pretty quickly responded to the suggestion he's in the big three by using his verse on Future and Metro Boomin's track Like That this March to denounce a big three as in, it's just me, there ain't no three. It was now Cole's turn to respond to Lamar's barb. On the 5th of April, released 7-minute drill on his Might Delete Later mixtape. In it, he criticized Lamar's whole career. While the insults were sharply worded, his suggestion that his albums weren't up to scratch fell flat. Cole quickly apologized for insulting Lamar, and then, true to the mixtape's name, deleted the track. Wow, you can't just call someone out and then delete it. It's embarrassing. But while Drake had largely stayed away from the fury at this point, he entered the fray with the full force on 19th of April, releasing 2 tracks, Push-Ups and Tailor Made, both insulting Lamar and the beef that had built up over the past decade. On Push-Ups, Drake takes aim at Future and Metro Boomin before laying into Lamar. He insults his height, his business acumen, his verses on tracks from Maroon 5 and Taylor Swift, and then on Tailor Made, Drake, which controversially used AI-generated voices of Tupac and Snoop Dogg, anticipating Lamar's future diss tracks before reiterating his earlier info about the rapper being indebted to Swift for a career boost. So there you have it. That's all the background for Lamar's new diss tracks. On balance, going through the history, it seems like Lamar could do with turning down his ego a little. Sorry, you have to have an ego doing hip-hop. That's kind of like, that's just the thing you do. That's the vibe of hip hop.
Well,
if you want to have no ego, do a different genre. That's what I say.
It's kind of the opposite of an ego.
Yeah. Most of the perceived insult against him
it's
were
the
rappers
opposite of ego when you cut other people
him,
down.
not even suggesting they surpass him. So people are just saying we're on the same level, and he's like, don't you dare say you're on the same level as me. As it stands, he's got discography to stand behind his audacious claims, and his diss tracks and verses have been some of the stronger tracks mentioned here. But really, boys, can't you all just get along? I agree. Just if the guy wants a, what is it called? Fan hot air, just let him. If Lamar wants to say he's the best rapper ever, just let him. Why are you so bothered by it that you have to? No, you're not. You're just as good as me.
This goes my biggest problem with rap right there. No chill, zero chill. Nobody can just accept other people's success. Like it hurts them personally, right? Oh my God, somebody else is making money. I gotta insult them. Grow the fuck up. We probably should deal with this in our logical fallacies, Like, I can't be good without somebody else being bad. Oh, okay.
I guess so.
By the way, ego has nothing to do with putting people down. Ego is your own self-worth, not someone else's. If you have to boost your own ego by putting somebody else down, you got trouble.
You better watch out, Kendrick. Rog is coming after you.
No, Drake's not the one with a problem. It seems like they both got a problem, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you remember that time Paul McCartney couldn't handle the Rolling Stones' success, so he wrote a song putting them down? No, because it never fucking happened. Anyway.
Okay,
remember
but
that time
that's my
Kurt
story.
Cobain couldn't handle the fact that Pearl Jam was making money and he wrote a song about them, and he might have, but it might have been more clever than the one, the up front. This guy's got no talent and can't rhyme. Okay, got it. Anyway.
He uses a ghostwriter.
This He does ghostwrite. You need a ghostwriter for rap? All you're doing is rhyming words, man. Even making up words that don't even exist so you can rhyme. You know, it's a great art form.
Just because you can write some rhyming lyrics with some flow doesn't mean they're good. Because, like I said, I don't like J. Cole, and that's because a lot of his tracks that I've heard, I'm just like, God, this guy is so pretentious what he's talking about. He's always talking about God and how God is the whole new reason he's here, and I get it, but I don't want to hear it. So, you're the reason you're here, not God. God didn't do shit for you.
God was doing shitty work that day.
People go to the hospital and like, thank God the baby was born. It's like, no, the doctor did.
Thank the doctor.
Not God. God wasn't there. Right?
Yeah,
that's the famous joke.
Thanks, right? Why did God create this complication in the first place? How about blaming God? How about that? Again, I'm gonna get rap. They invent words like the word crunk. That's not a word. Crunk is a word only because somebody couldn't think of a rhyme. I guarantee it. Oh, it rhymes with junk in the trunk.
Meme wasn't a word until 2010 or something. So words get invented all the time.
What's that?
Meme wasn't a word until like 2010.
I know. I'm just saying words get invented, but I'm just questioning the value in music of just ripping other people, just to rip other people. Who gets off on it? I don't get off on that, but I guess some people do. Like, I'm not even involved in it. Why would I get involved in it? Oh, wow, that guy hates that guy. Let me buy his record.
There's definitely people on social media right now who are like, I can't believe Kendrick said this, and stuff like that. So there's definitely hype around
I'm sure they do.
For sure.
Right. It's like people just want to watch. It's like the big news in sports all week was the Tom Brady roast, which I have no interest in. The Tom Brady anything to do with his life whatsoever. Like Tom Brady, nothing. Like, and he's watching, but some reason everybody's like, "Well, look at this! I can't believe they insulted this guy and insulted that guy." It's like it's a roast. You know why can't you believe it? Wow, they're really vulgar. It's a roast. You know, why are people shocked anymore by stupid things? But there's no sports going on. That's why you can tell they're talking. Well, there is sports going on, but most people don't realize it. Like they want to cover the trivial shit that don't matter instead of real things, which is what we do here. We cover the news.
Except that today, we're covering wacky and weird news, which is kind of trivial.
It is trivial. That's true. But we don't sit here and wander into, like Stormy Daniels testified yesterday. You'll hear about it right now here today, but it's on the news. If you want to watch that, watch it. We're not going to cover it because why would you watch us to get news about that? Well, this is the only internet you can find. I don't know. In this day in history, 1429, largely due to the efforts of Joan of Arc, English troops ended their siege of the French city of Orleans, which was military turning point of the 100 Years' War between France and England. I wonder when they started calling it the 100 Years' War.
Probably 50 years in.
It's just a quick.
This is gonna last 100 more years.
They predicted this is gonna go for exactly 100 years. Oh, I don't know, you English pig dog. Anyway. So that was my terrible French, angry Frenchman accent. Thank you. 1737, English historian Edward Gibbon, who is the best known for the book of the history of the decline and the fall of the empire, was born in Putney, Surrey. Putney, Surrey. That's in England, by the way. 1846, U.S. troops under Zachary Taylor defeated a Mexican force under General Mariano Arista in the Battle of Palo Alto, the first clash of the Mexican-American War. In 1864, during the American Civil War, Union forces of Lieutenant General Ulysses S. Grant engaged the Confederate troops of General Robert E. Lee at Spotsylvania Courthouse in Virginia. In 1877, the first Westminster Kennel Club dog show began, attracting large crowds over 4 days. It is one of the oldest continuously running sporting events in the United States, second only to the Kentucky Derby, which is run the other day, Saturday.
Yesterday.
In 1884. Yeah. So before we had sports, we just
60 years
had
ago,
our pets and horses do stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Well, yesterday's news was like a horse died 60 years ago. Like the...
Oh, Seattle Slew.
Yeah.
Seattle Slew won the only undefeated Triple Crown winner.
Longest,
1884.
most successful and longest running American sport, I guess, was that horse, basically.
No,
you just said Kentucky Derby.
Seattle Slew
is the
won that race.
American
It took 3
sport.
minutes.
So.
And of course, famously, the horse, after the horse race was done, thought, "Ooh, I get to eat oats now." That's basically all the horse thought. Anyway, and the horse has no idea when he died that he was the world's any of that. The horse is clueless about any of that. Completely. No idea. None.
No clue.
1877, the first Westminster... Oh, I did that already? Man, I'm reading the same story. 1884, Harry Truman was born, the 33rd President of the United States. 1886, American pharmacist John S. Pemberton developed Coca-Cola, a drink originally billed as a cure-all tonic, and of course, famously had cocaine in it, and that's where it got its name. 1902, Mount Pelee on Martinique erupted, destroying the port of Saint-Pierre and killing approximately 30,000 people. 15% of the island's population. That is horrible. Wow. 1942, in the Battle of the Coral Sea, the USS Lexington became the first U.S. aircraft carrier to be sunk during World War II. 1950, police in Silkeborg, Denmark, were alerted to the discovery of a corpse in a bog. It was revealed to be a remarkably preserved bog body and was given the name Tolundeman. 1970, a month after Paul McCartney announced that he left the Beatles, the British rock group released Let It Be, their last original studio album, to hit the record shops. We'd love to play a clip from that, but the bastards who own it will never let us play the Beatles. So, anyway, 1980, following the global vaccination program, the WHO, the World Health Organization, officially declared that smallpox was eradicated. For centuries, the acute infectious disease was one of the world's most dreaded plagues. 1999, Nancy Mace became the first woman to graduate from the Citadel, a military college in Charleston, South Carolina. 2012, American artist Martin Sendak, who is best known for his illustrated children's books, died at the age of 83. Our featured event. 1945, World War II in Europe ended. Yes, right, on this day in 1945, following Germany's unconditional surrender, World War II in Europe officially ended at the midnight on this day in 1945, although the war in the Pacific continued until the Japanese surrender in September. Feature biography, Paul Gauguin, that's how you pronounce it, French painter, born June 7th, 1848, but died on May 8th. 1903, on this day, at Hiva Oa in French Polynesia. He was either on vacation or he was in a prison camp. Probably just painting the natives, I guess. Not physically painting them. Capturing them on canvas. Other birthdays is F.A. Hayek, British economist, born in 1899. Don Rickles, American comedian, insult comic, born in 1926. So happy 98 to Don, if he was still around, insulting people. In 1926, it was also the same birthday. Don Rickles was born the same exact day as David Attenborough, English broadcaster, writer, and naturalist. And Richard Attenborough also does the same thing as him, as he narrates nature videos that we all enjoy. And he sounds like Winnie the Pooh. 1940, Rick Nelson was born. American musician and actor and son of Ozzie and Harriet. And in 1961, former New York Governor Bill de Blasio was born. And what day is it other than whatever I mentioned earlier? Which was National Receptionist Day. So I think we had Administrative Assistants Day a couple of weeks ago. Receptionists, a totally different job. They get a day. You answer the phone. You answer the phone, direct calls, and you take shit from a lot of people. National School Nurse Day.
They also always seem to have an attitude, huh? Like you're bothering them. Hello, I need blah blah.
Oh, is
Why
that
are you
is that
bothering
true?
me? You're the receptionist, man.
Of course,
I don't
that's
know.
one of the AI's replacing all of them, so we ain't gonna worry about that anymore. We'll just get AI attitude. School AI attitude. That'll be a song. AI attitude. What is it? AI anyway. National School Nurse Day. Appreciate that, school nurse. National Coconut Cream Pie Day. Watch an episode of Gilligan's Island, and that's all they're eating all day long. National Student Nurse Day, National Third Shift Workers Day, and National Have a Coke Day. It's actually Have a Coke Day because, as we mentioned, Coke was invented on this day in
Hell yeah.
1886. Have a Coke.
All that diabetes.
Have a Coke and a smile. You can have that Diet Coke and a smile. You can have the one that's low in carbs and a smile.
Yep.
You don't have to get hypoglycemia. Or is it hyperglycemia? It's hyperglycemia. Too much sugar. Anyway, those are your stories for today. Have a Coke and a smile on May 8th, 2024. On Before Your Coke.
Okay.
Back to you.
This has been Allison here from the Netherlands, where it's very cold all of a sudden yet again. And we will be covering our Themeless Thursday tomorrow, along with, what did you want to do? Something. 13 somethings. I can't remember what you told me.
Thursday 13's tomorrow. Thursday's 13 is tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a surprise.
Oh, it's a surprise. So show up tomorrow for Thursday's episode.
If you can't remember
see
it,
what 13 thing Raj is going to talk about.
If you can't remember, that means your memory's fading faster than mine. That's not a good sign.
Press that notification bell so you can be notified when we go live tomorrow, so you can not miss out on that Thursday 13. And thank you for watching. Have a good Wednesday. It's the mic drop moment time.
About meeting some world leaders, and one specific one. Quote, I remember when I met with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, I'm sure he underestimated me, having no clue about my experience staring down little tyrants. I've been a children's pastor after all. Did you meet Kim Jong-un?
Well, you know, as soon as this was brought to my attention, I certainly made some changes and looked at this passage. And I've met with many world leaders. I've traveled around the world. As soon as it was brought to my attention, we went forward and have made some edits. So I'm glad that this book is being released in a couple of days, and that those edits will be in place, and that people will have the updated version.
So you did not meet with Kim Jong-un. That's what you're saying.
You know, I've met with many world leaders, I've traveled around the world. I think I've talked extensively in this book about my time serving in Congress, my time as governor, before governor, some of the travels that I've had. I'm not going to talk about my specific meetings with world leaders. I'm just not going to do that. This anecdote shouldn't have been in the book, and as soon as it was brought to my attention, I made sure that that was adjusted. So the book is not released until Tuesday, and so we're doing all that we can to make sure that those changes are made, and I'm going to continue to focus on what this book is and the blueprint that it lays out for the American citizen, on all of the things in the background and stories of my life, but also what I think that needs to be identified in politics and what's broken today. I talk about how broken the money game is, how broken it is that we've got consultants that are getting rich off of elected officials, and then how fake some elected politicians are. Every single person in this country wants someone in elected office that's a human being, that doesn't say they're perfect. I take responsibility for that being in the book, and as soon as it was brought to my attention, I asked for it to be changed. So I'm glad that the release date is in a couple of days, and we're excited to talk to America about my new book, No Going Back.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.